Ladies and gentlemen, this is the Hank Cisco Show. Let's go.
Welcome to the Hank Cisco Show. I'm John Doyle sitting in for Hank. We hope he's doing well in the bed back at his house, and we hope all of you will keep him in your thoughts and your prayers. But Hank wants us to keep the show going, so the show must go on. And today we have the privilege of having Ryan Rosenbaum here, who is the Executive Director of the Montgomery County Chamber of Commerce. And we're going to find out some stuff about what a Chamber of Commerce is, how it works in our community, and how you can become more involved. So Ryan, thanks so much for being here.
Thanks, John. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, real pleasure to have you here. So the first thing I want to find out is just a little bit about what is the Montgomery County Chamber of Commerce?
Great question. So the Chamber is a collection of businesses working together to really stimulate the commerce of the county. It's businesses working together to help each other, to support each other, to build a better business community in Montgomery County and beyond.
And how does the Chamber go about doing that? Like, what are some of the activities the Chamber does that makes it possible for these businesses to succeed?
Well, a lot of chambers tackle this in a multitude of ways. Our chamber likes to think of ourselves as the networking opportunity that a lot of businesses may not be able to get from other channels and other platforms. We do a ton of activities. We actually have about 100 events that we do every year. A large part of that is networking, meeting people, exchanging business cards. We have a couple major functions that we do a year. As a matter of fact, next week we have a golf outing where we're going to have 70 golfers. It's not only to raise money for the chamber, but to create a great social atmosphere for people to meet each other on the links, to be able to golf together. We have a couple other opportunities. We do a business expo at the Elmwood Zoo, which, as you know, is around the corner from here, the Elmwood Park Zoo. We also do a big networking event at the beginning of the year, usually the first quarter in March. We have meetings with legislators to help businesses. There's a lot of issues that arise with businesses, whether it's taxes, minimum wage, stimulating hiring growth. All these types of things are important to our businesses. So throughout that, we have about 100 events that we do in our chamber to make these opportunities happen for our members.
So let's just, before we move any farther forward, this golf outing, what's the date of that, and can anyone still participate?
Well, it is September 24th, which is a week from today. It's a week from yesterday. And there's only 4 spots left. So if people want to golf, they should reach out to us. This is actually the largest amount of golfers that we've had in the 15 years we've done it. We have 17 foursomes. Last year we had 14 foursomes. We sold out of a lot of our sponsorships. It's a great golf club that's not that far from here. It's the 1912 Club in Plymouth Meeting.
Great.
It's a great time for people to come together to celebrate the joys of businesses in Montgomery County.
And that's an annual event, so if someone missed it in 2019, they could certainly look for it in 2020.
Book early for 2020.
That's great. Yeah, just let that get out. And you know, I also want to ask you a little bit about the Business Expo as well. So you talked about that as a sort of end of the year project. Is that what you said?
Well, the Business Expo usually happens right in the springtime.
Okay.
We've also been doing that for 15 years, so they must have started that around the same time as the golf outing.
Right.
And for the longest time, and it has been at the Elmwood Park Zoo, we find that to be a great partner for us, as the zoo is not only the center of a lot of things happening here in the county, they actually offer a great space for people who are visiting the zoo to connect with our chamber members. This past May, we had 26 of our chamber members exhibit their businesses. Not only were they able to show what they do with the other chamber members that attended, but of course, people who were there with their friends and their family visiting the zoo were able to come and meet our businesses.
That's great. So it was an opportunity both for the people inside to do the thing that they're doing, but you had guests just coming to the zoo who accidentally maybe found new businesses they might connect
Nothing
with.
happens by accident,
Okay,
John.
good, right. You're planned it. Right.
We try to plan it and we try to tell people about it, but yes, of course, there are some people who were there just checking out the
Jaguar
giraffes or the
exhibit or
jaguars and not knowing that there was a big event and that they had that benefit of being able to do that. The board is always exploring ways to elevate that program. Hopefully we'll do it at the zoo next year, or it could be a different venue. But the zoo is the centerpiece of what we do. So if this event's not the zoo, we will have other events there.
Great. So, you said a word, and it's a word that I think is elusive to some people. What do you mean when you say people are networking? Like, what's the activity people are doing when they network? They're not just shaking hands, right? What's going on there?
That is a very ominous kind of word that is kind of used loosely. I mean, what does networking mean, and how is it utilized? And you can see it in many different types of forms, right? So if you're out of work and you need a job, you go to networking events to try to meet people. My definition of networking is building relationships with people who normally wouldn't know or see on an everyday basis. You can almost look at it as I like to think of myself as, and I've been using this phrase recently, as the eHarmony of businesses.
Okay.
And to me, that has a certain connotation, right? Everybody knows eHarmony is a matchmaking service for people looking to date and marry. Well, we're marrying people in the sense that we want to find a chiropractor who might be able to connect with an insurance agent. We may want to marry a person who is doing automotive services with somebody who is maybe a car dealership. We want to marry a person who has a service. We have a member of ours that does drug testing for people who are starting a job. Right, when you start a new job, you do drug testing and alcohol testing. So we marry them with larger companies that might like to do that with different employees. So I like to think of myself as a master networker. Of course, I put this title. I better follow through with this. And if I can find people to connect them and help better build their business, that's how commerce is done in Montgomery County and really all over.
Great. So you're in a way, networking is connecting the individual businesses to their best benefit, so most utility between the two organizations, and you become a center point for that.
I do, and the thing about it is that networking to me is the prime principle of what we do to be able to help business connect. A lot of people join the chamber for other reasons too. They may want to join just because it is the social responsible thing to do to help benefit commerce in the county and in the region. We have certain members join us just because they want their name advertised on our website. We have some companies join us who are manufacturers, right? There's not really a regional connection for them to meet with people, but the reason they join us is that they are shipping things overseas. In order to do that, you need to be part of a chamber so that they can be able to have that seal and verification from the chamber. There are really a myriad of different reasons why people join the chamber, but I think at the most pinnacle part of it is a return on investment, I believe, to be able to do it. We also have nonprofits that join us, right? So if you're a nonprofit, there's really not an exchange of products or widgets or whatever it might be. There's an exchange of ideas and values. So if you're a nonprofit, you may join because we may offer a workshop at a discount for a nonprofit, or we may have great professionals in the area who may need to get involved as a volunteer for that nonprofit. So there's a lot of different reasons, but you asked about networking. At the end of the day, people meeting each other and being able to connect each other in ways to help each other out is the heart of what we are and what we do.
That's great. So you keep using the word join. So the chamber is a membership organization.
It is a membership organization.
What does that mean?
Right, so we are a nonprofit tax-exempt organization, and there are thousands in Pennsylvania and millions in America, and ones that people might be most familiar with as far as a nonprofit are charitable organizations.
Right.
The Cancer Association or Juvenile Diabetes or Alex's Lemonade, they're all great causes that are charitable organizations where you have donors and you can be able to write grants to support your cause. At a membership organization, you join as a member. We have different membership levels based on how many employees you have. That's how we base our membership. It starts anywhere from $250 all the way up to over $2,000, depending on how many employees you have. And that's how we generate revenue to keep the doors open, to keep the lights on, to have insurance, to have a building, to be able to provide the programs and services that we're able to offer to our members. And when you join as a membership organization, it is it's tax deductible, but not tax exempt.
Right.
And it's good business practice, and so because we are a nonprofit, we're able to do that. There's other nonprofits or civic organizations which are 501c4s or 501c6. as I previously mentioned, as charitable organizations, 501c3.
Right.
We are filed under a 501c6
Okay.
tax-exempt membership organization in the state of Pennsylvania.
Okay, great. And when a person joins, are there any benefits that come aside from participation in activities? What benefits does a member get?
Right, so just a few of the benefits that they get is we offer a e-news, which is a email that goes out once a week, every Thursday,
Okay.
to over 2,000 contacts. And it seems sort of trivial in the time where you have so much technology, people are getting so much information. But what we're able to do there is we're able to use that platform as a way to tell people what's happening in the community with different businesses. That we're able to share great videos, such as the one that is happening right now.
Right.
That there are a lot of historical things that are happening with our chamber because we have been around for a long period of time. So anytime that there is something that we are not only promoting for ourselves, but promoting for our members as well, certain members are looking to hire, so we put that on our e-news. So that's a great benefit of membership, is being able to get that. Of course, we talked about, as a member, all of these networking opportunities, or
Right.
a majority of them, are at no cost if you're a member.
Okay.
If you're not a member, there's an additional cost. We have workshops and lunch and learns. All of those are offered at a discount for our members. So all these big events that we do, the golf outing is a discount for our members. All these different opportunities that we offer in the community are values to membership.
Okay, that's great, and that's very helpful. So a person joins, they pay in accordance with the number of employees they have, and once they join the organization, they have access both to events and to some specific information you might share, services. And you also talked about potentially being listed on a website, right?
Yes, all of our members are listed on a website, which is viewed by thousands of individuals who are not only other businesses, but they are also viewed by customers. And I can tell you from my own experience managing membership organizations, people want to do business with people who associate themselves with different associations, because by that virtue, they are aligning themselves with an association and saying that we are an ethical association, we are an association, or we are an ethical company that is aligned to the values of that association and what they do. All of our members are checked on the Better Business Bureau to make sure that they pass an A+ rating on the Better Business Bureau. And so we like to vet our organizations in that aspect. So anybody that uses one of our organizations, and by one of our organizations, one of our companies that are members of our chamber, we can stand by that company knowing that that they are a valued company in that county.
Oh, that's
in
great.
our county.
That's fantastic. So can you talk to me a little bit about this question, and that comes up in my head, is why there are so many chambers around. So there's like lots of chambers of commerce. I hear different areas, and I know there's one in Norristown now. Why are there so many?
Okay, so Montgomery County is a very large geographic area.
Right.
It's 800,000 people. It's larger than, I think, 3, 4, maybe 5 U.S. states. Right. So because of that, we carry a very large amount of population to service that population. So that's why so many exist, and so many can exist. There is no constriction. There is no mergers. We are able to coexist and share a lot of, quite frankly, share a lot of our member companies. In Montgomery County alone, there is a Greater Montgomery County Chamber of Commerce, a great organization that is in Lansdale, and a large majority of their members are geographically centered to where that location is. There's also another great chamber in Eastern Montgomery County, which is in Jenkintown. A lot of their members are geographically centered where their offices are in the Jenkintown, Abington, Elkins Park area.
Right.
So they cover the east. The Lansdale covers the majority of the north. We cover the south area, at least a large majority of the south. We are in King of Prussia. A majority of our members are in King of Prussia, Plymouth Meeting, Conshohocken, Norristown, and the regions beyond. Now, it doesn't mean that the other chambers don't intersect. In fact, there is a big intersection. There's a triangulation, so to speak, in the center of the county, in Ambler, Willow Grove, where we share a lot of common members.
Okay.
And then also, here's the most important thing, is people will join a chamber where most of their business is happening.
Okay.
So Norristown has a smaller chamber, but a very viable chamber, and that consists of a lot of businesses just in Norristown. And as you probably know, Norristown is a booming business area.
Right.
And so in that aspect, you're really being microcentric to Norristown, but a lot of members in Norristown are also a member of our chamber. Where I live in Horsham, there's a great chamber in Horsham. It's a smaller chamber, but people who are in Horsham want to join that chamber. So in that aspect, I will say that a lot of people join their local township chambers, but they also joined a county-wide chamber. There are about 20 chambers last time I counted within a 20-mile radius. So there is a.
That's amazing.
There's if it seems like there's a lot of chambers, it's because there are. But a lot of chambers exist because they can exist because business is booming. There's a lot of businesses that want to be able to be part of that experience.
And being in those different chambers just means access to other businesses or access to other events that may
correct.
support them in their individual area.
And from time to time, we try to do some collaborative events with other chambers. We're doing an event actually at the end of October. I'll get this date straight. I think it's October 24th. With the Eastern Montgomery County Chamber, where we're going to have both of our young leadership committees are organizing an event at Legoland. So in my view, there really is no animosity or rivalry. I like to tell people to join as many chambers as possible because then your law of averages, you're leveraging the experiences that you have all over the county and all over the townships.
That's great. Can you tell me a little bit about the history of this particular chamber, your engagement with the chamber, like how long you've been executive director or in leadership there, and a little bit about that history of the organization?
Yes, so I have personally been involved with the Montgomery County Chamber for almost a year now. I took over October of 2018 and obviously did a lot of research and had quite an amount of interviews, and I really put a leap of faith in this chamber. When I took over this chamber, as you personally know, which was a sad story, the executive director before me was stricken with cancer. Unfortunately, has passed away since I've taken over, and I left a very big legacy. The executive director before that was also there for a long period of time, so I have big shoes to fill. When I took over, there was a lot of administrative details that needed to be taken over for there. We revamped the staff, we revamped the office, we cleaned up a lot of the paperwork in the office, we restructured our board. Actually, when I took over, we realized that we were 3 board members short. Our bylaws constituted for 12 board members, we only had 9.
Right.
I can tell you, and even if they're not watching this, I would still say the same thing. It's probably one of the best board of directors that I've ever worked with, and I've worked in membership organizations for 18 years. And I say this because they're not only business people themselves, but they're very passionate about the chamber, that they have a very good grasp of the landscape of businesses in Montgomery County. They care about the businesses in Montgomery County. And from a very selfish point of view, they allow me to succeed and fail on my own. And we've had a lot more successes than failures. They relied on my experience. The chamber itself has been around since 1912, so it's about 100, and let's do the math, Ryan, about 107 years.
Yeah.
Did I do that right?
That sounds perfect.
And what's interesting about it, I believe it's the oldest, and I could be wrong, but if not the oldest, maybe the second oldest chamber in the state of Pennsylvania.
Okay.
And it started off in Norristown, then became the King of Prussia Chamber of Commerce.
Right.
And then it became the Schuylkill Valley Alliance, but nobody knew how to spell Schuylkill, so they just stuck with Montgomery County Chamber.
Right.
The building in which we're headquartered in, which quite frankly is my favorite part about the job, is in the old King of Prussia Inn.
Right.
And for those in the area that are unfamiliar, the King of Prussia Inn is a 300-year-old building that used to be literally the foundation was on the turnpike in 202 in King of Prussia.
Yeah, so it's like right in the middle of the road.
Right in the middle of the road. And in 1998, the chamber decided to purchase the building, the rights to the building, to have the building moved. And keep in mind, this is not a very small building. This is a 2-story, 2,600 square foot, 60-ton building. They raised the money. The building was moved in after they raised the money in 2000. I think it was August of 2000. It took them 12 hours to move 6 city blocks. We now sit on a block of land that is owned by Pico. It seems to be a very random piece of land, but it's a very treasured piece of history. George Washington stayed in there. There was a tavern in there, and there's many stories of him being in this tavern, having a lot of strategies during, before and after the war. The building itself has several tenants, ourselves, the chamber. We have a family therapist who rents space in the building, and the Women's Golf Association of Philadelphia. So it seems to be a really happy home for 3 businesses, us included, who own the building, and 2 other businesses who are also part of our chamber, by the way.
That's great.
And it's a great place where we can gather as a board to have board meetings where we welcome our members. If they like to have events at the chamber, they are entitled to do that as a member. It's actually another perk. There's no extra cost if you're a member and want to have a workshop in our boardroom. The other thing about it is we get a lot of visitors. Every once in a while I'll get a call, this is Mildred from Iowa, I'm in town, can I check out your building? And I love showing it to people. There's a lot of great stuff on the walls. There's a lot of history in that building, and we're very proud to have that building as part of our chamber.
And you're located right off of, what is it, Gulf Road, South Gulf Road? Where are you located?
You think I would know where I am. I'm not really from this area, but yes, I believe it's North Gulf Road.
Right, it's North Gulf Road.
And DeKalb would be the closest
right,
intersection.
Exactly, yeah. And you just drive down there towards the Plaza Azteca.
Yeah.
Right?
Oh, yeah. And that is a great restaurant. They're not members of us, yes.
Yeah, we'll work on that.
Yeah.
Perhaps we'll tag that in the video clip, and maybe we'll get them to hear what you have to say.
Let's
and
put it
join
at the
up.
bottom of the stream. We got a new member in the chamber.
Right, exactly. That sounds great. So,
but yeah, we're on 101 Bill Smith Boulevard.
Great, which is it's off there. Yeah, I remember the move of that building actually. So back then, when I was friends with people who were in the chamber at that point, and I remember watching that thing roll slowly down the street, blocking massive amounts of traffic to the frustration of hundreds of people, and the joy watching this super cool process of moving that place. So it's really exciting that it has a good home and it's still functioning and working.
And we are stewards of that home, and certainly like with any older building, there are things that break down. And it's not the sexy things to talk about, but we just replaced the toilet there a couple weeks ago. We've had some problems with HVAC and mechanical things, so we're always looking for ways to streamline more finance and money so that we can maintain the historical preservation of that building. So these are other things that we're looking to do as a chamber, because we feel now it's our responsibility, since we own the building, or at least have a mortgage on the building, that we should be able to take care of this building for generations to enjoy the history of it.
So let's switch gears. We've talked about the past. Let's talk about the future. What are your hopes? You've been in the job a little over a year, I guess, around a year?
Yeah, it's been 3 weeks will be 1 year.
So
and let me tell you, it's been the longest decade of my life, John.
Yeah, I'll bet, absolutely. So tell me about what you hope to see over the next 5 years or next 10 years at the chamber. What are your hopes? What are your dreams for the organization?
There are a multitude, and it's like you can't walk and chew gum at the same time. Well, I can. I am thinking about 5 different things all at the same time, just kind of how my mind operates. And certainly, I want our membership to grow, which obviously helps us out, but it doesn't necessarily help our members out. The way that I like to see this happen is, as our membership grows, that means there are more businesses that will be able to help meet other businesses, right? So we're doing a business card exchange tomorrow. Typically, our business card exchanges, we get 25 to 28 people. But when your membership grows, you have more people interested. We have 36 people coming tomorrow. So when you have more numbers, you have more opportunities for you as a member company to grow your business as well. So that is one aspect of it. But one of the other things I like to do is think forward ahead. One of the things, once again, it's not a very sexy topic, but it's one that's very important, not only as a chamber, but really as a country, is that we had the opportunity at one point to be able to offer a discount health insurance to especially our smaller businesses, right? This is one of the legislative things that you're always dancing around. And there was a whole bunch of things that happened politically over the last couple of years where a lot of chambers in Pennsylvania specifically have lost that benefit. And it's becoming political football like it has with everything else with healthcare. So one of the things I'm trying to do is champion that cause with legislators on both sides of the aisle to make sure that this is something that should not happen, or something that we can reinstitute in chambers, not only our own chamber, but chambers in Pennsylvania. Because by doing that, you now take a person who maybe wants to open up a pizza shop, right? Maybe Mary and Joe Smith, and maybe they don't have the same type of power of numbers like a Hilton, where they have tons and tons of employees, where they can have that power of offering a health insurance program. So if we can be able to offer that to a family or a franchise to have a cheaper health insurance, they not only become a member, but they also are contributing as a small business in the chamber. So it's something that I would like to see happen. I would also like to see businesses grow, right? That's at the foundation of what we do. There's nothing that makes me feel better than knowing that a business of ours is growing themselves. Those are my hopes in the future. Besides, of course, world peace and happiness, and
Right.
health of my own family and everybody else's.
Right, and all the good. So that's great. So, you talk about providing that health insurance. It's about, as people join, they're able to increase your negotiating power in gaining an insurance policy that's a little cheaper, right, for those organizations that could never do that.
You know what? That's a great perspective. I wasn't thinking about that, but that is true. What I was saying is, as our membership grows, our attendance grows, which means if our attendance grows in events, there's more opportunities for our members to meet more people. But you are also right, John, is that our membership grows, we do have a stronger position of power, I would think, especially on the state legislative issues and things that affect businesses in that case. There are a ton of things that affect businesses, whether it's a tax benefit, whether it's minimum wage, which is always a hot button item. There are growth opportunities in Pennsylvania for people to hire. So being able to develop that is a way that we feel like we're stimulating an economy. When I see that more members are joining us, I like to think they're joining us because they like me and they like the chamber, but really the reality is they're joining us because their business is doing well and the economy is doing well. And if we're doing well and the economy is doing well, that means everybody, not only in the county, but everybody in the state and really everybody in the country are doing well. And that's really what we want to see happen.
I guess I should say, you said this just moments ago about a pizza shop, and I think that's really interesting. So, is there any kind of business that that doesn't join the chamber? Like, what could any business join the chamber?
The most direct answer to that question is yes. If you have a membership application fee, you can join the chamber. What we like to do is we like to look at that business from a perspective of a better business. We don't discriminate against it. We might have people in the chamber that just don't like pizza that say, why would we want a pizza shop? And of course there's always political spectrums. We have a lot of nonprofits that that represent things on the right and things on the left. And as a nonpartisan, we are a nonpartisan nonprofit group. We don't discriminate against for any type of political reasons. The only thing that we would edge against is if it's a moral or ethical decision that's against the safety or against the better interest in that regards, or if it's a business that has failed the test of the Better Business Bureau.
Okay.
The other opportunity, which is an interesting one, is that if you join us as a new business, or even if you join us, even if you already joined us and want to have a grand opening, one of the things that we do, and actually it's a lot of fun, is we go to different places and we do ribbon cutting ceremonies. Mm-hmm. We did one last week for a business that's a storage unit in Bridgeport that's celebrating 1 year, and we like to not only take the picture but celebrate that business and put them in our e-news. We've had businesses. The best ones for me are the restaurants, right? Because when they open up business, there's always free samples for Ryan, right?
Absolutely.
I don't do it for the free samples, but it doesn't hurt.
It's still a benefit.
It doesn't hurt to eat.
Yeah.
My wife's dream is that we have a new business that does jewelry and flowers. Those are always our favorite businesses. Right. But in my perspective, the best businesses are the ones that help other businesses in the area and help them grow. One of our biggest members is the King of Prussia Mall, and they have a ton of stores in there that fit almost anybody's needs. We have a women's clothing store, and we also have technology stores. We have about 50 different industries that we represent, whether it's a manufacturer, whether it's a car dealership, whether it is a restaurant, nonprofits, banks, financial institutions, investments, realtors, doctors. We represent everybody, and that's what's great about what we do. In my past career, I've represented singular industries. I've worked with realtors.
Okay.
I've worked with remodelers. I've worked with international accountants. And what I do now is that I'm celebrating all businesses all over the county. And every day is different for me, which is, from my point of view, I like it. I like what I do, but I like what I do because I believe what I do. I feel very passionate about the chamber. It really has been one of the joys of my career, which has been 18 years. And I like other people to feel the same way. And if I can be able to help them do that and to see what's great that we're doing, then I feel like I'm doing my job.
So how can people, so someone wants to join the chamber, how do they go about doing that? What's the process?
Either they can call us, 610-265-1776.
Okay.
Very easy to remember. We have a website, www.montgomerycountychamber.org.
Okay.
We actually just redeveloped our website. It's one of the things that we did that was kind of new. it's not at our best right now, but it's a very operable website
Right.
that offers a lot of different opportunities to not only see who our other members are, but to see our events, to read about what we're doing. But most importantly, if they want to be able to join, they can go in there and they can join. If anybody is interested in having a cup of coffee to learn about what we do, my main job is I'm on the road all the time. I'm not only meeting with people who are interested in what we do, but I'm also meeting with people who are already members.
Right.
To sit down and discuss with them what are things that we're not doing that we could be doing better. Always improving and growing and thinking of new ways and opportunities to support businesses is something that we're trying to achieve.
That's fantastic. So let me just run through those contact information again. We've got it out. Let's do it one more time. So if someone wants to call you, it's 610?
265-1776.
Great. It's 265-1776. And the web address again?
Is www.montgomerycountychamber.org. O-R-G spelled out.
That's perfect. It's fantastic.
We have a team of a very large staff of myself and my marketing director, Janet Galler, who does a wonderful job for us. And we are omnipresent. We are everywhere. We try to be everywhere. So don't hesitate if you even are thinking about joining us or have a question and want us to meet you anywhere in the county. We will get in our cars, we'll drive, we'll meet you, we'll have a conversation. We're happy to do that.
That's fantastic. Well, I want to thank you so much for being with us here today. It's been really interesting. And it's funny, you know, we've had a variety of businesses, but we haven't had the chamber on. Probably, I would bet we haven't had a chamber on in 12 years.
Let's do it again next week, John.
So it's fantastic. So if you have an activity coming up, we always want to try and celebrate those things here on the Hank Cisco Show. It's been a real pleasure to talk to you. Ryan, thank you so much.
Thank you, John.
Being
Really
here.
appreciate your
Yeah.
time. What a great operation you got here.
Yeah, you got a bunch of good kids doing good work and a good guest who gives us information people care about. So thanks so much for watching the Hank Cisco Show. You're following us either on Comcast 28 or Verizon 45, or you can find us at the Hank Cisco Show on YouTube. We hope you enjoyed today's conversation. The Montgomery County Chamber of Commerce does some fascinating work. If you're a business out there, we hope that you'll take the opportunity to go to their website, which is listed right below me now, and to contact them and try and join up. You can hear the rates are really manageable depending on the size of your employment, and they offer a variety of really fascinating benefits. So again, we want to thank you for watching. As Hank would say, you know, all sunshine brings deserts. So we want to remember that the hard times that we go through are not destroying us. They're just part of the way of us making sure we don't dry out completely. Me explaining a Hank Cisco aphorism is ridiculous, but I've done it. So we want to thank you so much for being with us. And as Hank would say, God bless.